Welcome in to another episode of the My Two Bits Gators football podcast. It is Tuesday, January 6th. For those who you listened to our last pod, and I said Tuesday, January 5th. Sorry about that. Mixed up my dates, but it is a good day. And it is a good day in Gainesville and in Gator Nation because Jadan Baugh is back, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not heard that news, that is the news of the day. I'm your host, Ben, joined as always by your other host, Mr. Randy. Randy, how are we feeling? How is Gator Nation? How is Gville? What is happening?
Happy New Year to you, my man. Listen, it might be January 6th, but everyone had number 13 on their minds for what seems like for the past few weeks,
That's
and
right.
and when we got that notification earlier today, that was a massive sigh of relief and calm and knowing that we've got one of the biggest pieces of this team back for the fall, and it feels so good, man. It feels so good.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Big news for some other reasons today as well. We'll get into that in the rest of this, but nothing
Yeah.
certainly bigger than that news today. Been waiting on it for quite some time. There was some obvious, very heavy speculation that this was not going to happen roundabouts before Christmas. So, yes, Happy New Year to you as well. And New Year just got a little better with that news. So, with that, let's get into it. Tonight's episode, we are going to focus on a transfer portal update for you. Obviously, this is not going to be final news on this as the portal has just opened up a few days ago here. So, we've still got a lot of ways to go in this in terms of players still being able to enter. And then obviously, they can be in the portal after it's open and still commit to teams. So, we got a long way still to go in this process, but we are making some moves. We have a lot of guys that have entered the portal. We're going to talk through all of it and give you a breakdown. So with that, let's get things started with our intro, our mission or accuracy disclaimer, our vision and our agenda. As always, our mission is to provide factual analysis of all things Florida Gator football. Our accuracy disclaimer is that our information will be accurate to the best of our possible ability. We will cite our sources whenever we use them. And all statistical data comes from either ESPN or stats.ncaa.org. And recruiting data, as tonight's will be, comes from on3.com. Our vision is to have unfiltered conversation around the product on the field, as well as recruiting and overall coaching decisions. Our analysis will be based on review of film, and while we will express opinion, that opinion should always be based in some form of fact. We will also evaluate strategy and tactics and discuss our observation of player personnel decisions. With that, tonight's agenda, very straightforward, very simple, though there will be a fair amount of content in each section. We will talk about the departures from the team and rate the sting factor of them, low, medium, or high. How much does it hurt to lose the players that we're losing? I think you may find that a lot of them, in my opinion anyway, not that much, but we'll get there in a minute. Then we will talk about the arrivals, the new additions to the team, and what the excitement factor is, low, medium, or high as well. So kind of keeping that pretty simple. And then last but not least, we will talk about what are the biggest areas we still need to address through the portal on the team. And we will discuss those briefly and then wrap things up and talk about the next pod. So with that, I will turn it over to Randy to get us started with the departures. We are doing this basically in chronological order from when they announce their date. That is the method by which we've done this. So take it away, Mr. Randy.
All right, B, here we go. First up, it seems fitting that it's going to be Mr. Lagway, right?
Yeah, it does.
So here we are, Mr. DJ Lagway, your sophomore quarterback, former sophomore quarterback, ranked 94.5, four-star overall, nationally number 19, and for quarterbacks, number 7. So might come to a surprise for most. I know a lot of people that I've talked to said it was a surprise. I think I did not find it was that much of a surprise that he entered the portal, wanted to transfer. I think it was a good thing that he needs to transfer, fresh start, all that good stuff. My sting factor is going to be a medium. And at the end of the day, I was debating on this. I thought it was going to be low, but I'm like, you know what? He did do a lot of things. He can show some great attributes when he was healthy, and I would have loved to see him in Faulkner's offense coming in healthy. So that's why I put him at a medium and not a low. But at the end of the day, definitely not a high sting because we know that over the past year, just the other struggles and more so than anything else with quarterbacks, It's in the headspace, and he needs a total reset. So I've got him as a medium stink factor, B. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I have a medium as well. Obviously still has huge potential. Clearly, we've seen it. We've seen that come to fruition at times, certainly, but the lack of fundamentals here is what I'm going to point to. The absolute regression that we saw in footwork, and even in some other areas, but especially in footwork this year was honestly really concerning. Look, was that because of injury in the offseason? Was that because he couldn't practice? I don't know, but we don't know those answers. But there was concern here. The ceiling for him, obviously, still very, very high, and he may be really good elsewhere. Okay, but he was not good enough to get a guarantee to play, here, right? So, and because of that, I think that's why he decided to transfer. I think he wants to go make good somewhere and make good on this poor year and get a guarantee that he's going to get the opportunity to do that. And he didn't have that here. That's what I think it broke down to. Not saying he couldn't have played here. He just wasn't going to get a guarantee that was going to happen. So the reason for me that it's a medium as much as anything is obviously you lose the potential for that, but also it creates a need for a quarterback to be brought in that is going to be able to perform, I think more definitively than he was, because we have now a lot of youth and lack of experience in the QB room now that he's gone, right? And
Yep.
so I think that's why it has a medium sting here. It's not going to bother me that much if he goes and does well elsewhere, because I don't have guarantees that would have happened here based on what we just saw, right? So, if somebody else goes and gets that out of him, good for them and good for him. And I'm not mad at him, and it is what it is, unless he goes to Florida State, which I don't think is actually happening now. But if he goes to Florida State, then I'm definitely mad at him, and that's a whole other conversation. But I don't think that's happening based on what we're hearing now. So anyway, yeah. So I'm with you. Medium. Moving on.
Okay.
Next up,
Moving on.
wide receiver Moise Tonkara. He is ranked, and this is the transfer portal rankings, by the way, that we're giving you. He's ranked 842nd overall, 132nd ranked wide receiver, so not so high here. I'm gonna make this very short and sweet. Sting factor is low. Plenty of wide receiver talent still in the room, even with losing several others that we'll talk about later. He was pretty much always a depth piece. I don't think was ever really not going to be a depth piece, I don't believe. And that's that. Wish him well. I'm done. What you got?
Short, sweet, huh? Well, guess what? I'll keep it short. I'll keep it sweet. Depth, check. Not there. Again, and here's the other thing, folks. We can sound overly crucial or critical going through some of these names, but at the end of the day, this is, again, not anything against them as a person, character, or anything like that. It's just strictly them as a player, contributions, abilities to this team, and doing whatever they need to do. I agree with you. Completely low sting, almost no impact. Moving on.
Exactly. Moving on to.
Oh, speaking of which, next up, K.D. Daniels, 3-star running back. Okay, nationally, yeah, looks like 87. Actually, I have the number misplaced, but running back wise, number 48 in the nation. And so KD, here's the thing. He had a really good opportunity coming in, a lot of hype on him. And for this one here, I worried about the running back room being depleted, having some scar tissue, as I mentioned before. And so with him, I'm going to give this another, for me, a medium sting.
Interesting. So Nationals 437. Sorry, were you done?
Perfect. Thank you. That's what I was like, wait a minute, the national, yeah, 437, and then for the running backs, number 48. So, and that was the other thing too. When I looked at everything else that was in the portal from a running back factor, he still has great speed. He has a lot of youth and on his side, and stay very moderately healthy. That's why I have him as a medium sting factor, B.
Yeah. So I've got him as low.
Okay.
And just because I have minimal impact because of the plenty of depth in the room still, despite the fact that we're losing two other backs besides him. But I think obviously we picked up another one, and we'll get to that later as well. Obviously, Katie's got great speed, but he lacks some contact balance, and he doesn't always have the best vision. If you look at how, what we've seen from him running, I mean, his speed's fantastic, but he gets hit and he goes down, right? It just doesn't really have the ability to bounce off tackles very well or anything like that. And again, not always the best vision to find the right lane or kind of see the play develop. He kind of just wants to get in there and go, and that can be fine in certain situations. But yeah, so I got this as low just simply because
Sure.
not going to be your starter, and so was going to be a depth piece. Could have seen the field certainly, but we got other guys that can do that. So I'm not losing sleep over this one. So to me, it's a low impact. Next up, Jordan Castell. This one's going to be interesting because if you remember, Jordan Castell was a borderline top 100 recruit. He was real close to that. As a transfer,
Yeah.
he's 301st nationally, 26th ranked safety. Let that sink in for a minute. Yeah, not great, as we have talked about repeatedly with his play. So sting factor here, low. Was always very inconsistent on film. And this is the starting safety for the last 3 years for us. And I'm saying it's a low impact because very inconsistent on film. And again, a player that in my mind has regressed after his freshman season. We thought he would take a step forward. He took a step back. Again, lower transfer rating, the recruiting ranking, as I already mentioned. Perhaps there's an opportunity for him to be better elsewhere too, and I wish that for him. I got no problem with the kid. Again, it's not personal, but we have already replaced him with a guy that I like better on film. And again, somebody I'll talk about more later, and frankly, who was ranked higher also. So there you go. It just not the thing that I think is the best. So anyway, your thoughts on old Jordan?
The thing about Jordan that was the most frustrating, I think the best word to sum it up as is regression. And that's why I have him as a low sting, because I love, especially when we talked about Shamar and Shamar's impact, when Shamar went down, when Shamar left. Obviously, we felt Shamar that season a couple of years ago when he was injured. And like, okay, so Shamar's gone. Jordan's going to take over. Jordan's going to be the QB. Jordan's going to be the, oh, wait, he's not. So low sting. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. All right.
Absolutely. On to the next.
Next up, got Josiah Davis, redshirt freshman, overall 3-star, but nationally 913 in the safety position, 86. Sting factor for Randy, low. Here's the thing, 2024 season, nothing fancy, limited stats. I want to say it was maybe 1 or 2 tackles. Okay. Had a little bit of time in special teams, consistent, but outside of that, played a mix of DB and the special teams. Contributor on the field, not major defensive stat stuffer, not a great presence. And so for me, Josiah Davis, low sting level. What you got, B?
Yeah, same here. Depth piece, absolutely. Was not really seeing the field. Did not crack the 2 deep, in 2 seasons. No real impact here. So low sting when there's no impact, right? So yeah, right there with you. All right, on to the next. Aiden Mizell. 159th overall, 32nd ranked wide receiver. Again, a slight downgrade from where he was ranked as a recruit. I'm torn here. I'm going to go low because of his rating dipping and because we didn't really see the impact, from a film standpoint. But I do think he could have had an impact next season potentially in an offense that used his skill set better, right? We saw some evidence of this that he was probably not utilized properly. Did have some injury concerns, obviously, too. So this is borderline for me. I got this right on the edge of low to medium. Again, it's not a depth concern. We still have depth in the room, and we're likely to bring in more. So do we feel a loss here? I don't think so, which is why I leaned into the low side. But this is also one where I'm just confused. So there's a couple of these on the list, and this makes the grade for me for this. Why are you leaving? You've got the offensive coordinator of the year coming in. You're a legacy Gator. You've got, players here. You're not going to be a guy who's likely to be like a standout star wide receiver, right? There's another guy on this list who's leaving where maybe I can get it a little more, though I'm still a bit confused by him. Why are you leaving? You could play, you could see the field, you could get time, and you could be in a good offense. Why are you leaving? Oh, and you're a legacy, not legacy player, but legacy with both your parents going to the school. Why are you leaving? I just don't understand. This one really has me scratching my head, man. It's one of, again, about three on this list that I'll talk about. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And he's already basically committed. It's not official commit. It's a crystal ball, but to UCLA.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. Aiden's got me scratching my head. So that's my take. What's yours?
Interesting, B. And here's why I say this. I had him at a medium. I went back over my list this afternoon and I said, you know what? With everything else, the one thing I enjoyed about Aiden is when he was healthy and when he was in the game, he was dependable. Very good catch radius.
Yes.
We know about the speed. But because of the fact that he did not give this new opportunity with this coaching staff and his abilities, that's kind of what put me at a low. Because so it's funny, you put him as a head scratcher, I put him as a head scratcher, and that in my book that dinged him from a medium to low. So there you go.
Yep, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, moving on to Teddy.
Teddy Foster, your red shirt freshman, came in as 3-star. Nationally, 1,294. And for the safety room, 128.
Yeah, which I don't know why they classified as a safety. He's not a safety, he's a corner. I don't know what Onthree's doing there, but I guess because he's ranked so low, it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, does it matter, B? Does it matter? It's like safety, corner, nickel, 5. It doesn't matter. It's low. So guess what, B? Speaking of low, that's my sting factor. Moving on. Go.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm right there with you. I was like Teddy as a prospect. I think he was ranked about 600th. Don't ask me how I remember that out of Cardinal Mooney over in Sarasota, I believe.
Cardinal Mooney.
I have no idea how I remember all that about his recruiting, but I had him as a potential sneaky pickup as a 3-star. He was somewhere in either the high 5s or the low 6s in his ranking, and obviously has dipped significantly from that. Always, but that piece again, a guy who didn't crack the 2 deep in 2 years. Wish him well. Always liked the kid. Thought he had a good attitude. Saw a lot of practice film on him where he was going really hard in practice. So appreciate the efforts and him going hard. Playing for the patch type of thing. No hard feelings here at all. And again, wish him well. Hope he gets a shot somewhere. I think he is going to USF actually. So good luck over there with the Bulls.
Go Bulls. Okay.
Go Bulls. All right, next one, Marcus Maskell, offensive tackle, actually. 724th overall, 50th ranked offensive tackle. Again, low. The only thing here is depth. Depth on O-line is important, and this is a depth piece for O-line. Wasn't seeing the field previously. Don't know that he would have seen the field in the future. He was always kind of a depth prospect. He has moved up in ranking from his recruiting rank, so that is something. But again, best of luck and hope he can find a spot somewhere.
Yeah. Low.
All right. That's it. Good enough.
That's it. It really didn't see much of Marcus, and therefore
I don't think he saw the field at all that I'm aware of.
No, from an impact standpoint. Correct. So definitely it is a low sting for sure. All right, moving on. After Mr. Marcus Maskell, we have Tank Hawkins, sophomore wide receiver, was 3-star, nationally 736 in the wide receiver room, 113. This was a tough one for me. I vacillated between low and medium, and I stuck to medium mainly because of the abilities that he had, the physicality that he had, the speed that he had. I thought he would be able to be utilized a lot more, and I would have loved to see him in orange and blue for another season, utilizing him in a different offense. It's a shame we could not get to see more of him. So for me, probably should be a low, but for me, it is a medium because I wanted to see so much more of Tank just run down the damn field.
Yeah, you're what it is it's an emotional medium, okay? And that's exactly how I would be if I was grading this emotionally. But if you look at it for the impact here, for me anyway, I have it as a low. But it's funny, my first note literally says on this page, should have been used more and better with his speed.
Absolutely.
So exact same thought here. We underutilized him. We did not use him properly, right? This was a Napier screw up from day one, right, in utilization of this kid. I don't blame him for transferring at all. And I'm with you. Emotionally, it's a medium because, man, we were hype on this dude. He was so fast,
Yes.
right? We were so high on this kid. But he had route running issues, in fairness. He was not the greatest route runner from what we've heard, and that did hold him back. But he will go be a burner somewhere if he can see the field. And, and again, wish him well. No hard feelings at all. But we're going to be fine on this one. We got speed at receiver. We got, depth at receiver again. More we'll talk about, but
Yep.
but we'll be okay with this one. Not too worried about it. So I have it as a low because I think from a on the field impact, I mean, he barely saw the field. So like, I'm again, he should have seen it more, but he barely saw it. So I can't call this impact anything more than low for me. So,
Yep.
all right, next up, Pup Howard, nationally 405, 34 ranked linebacker, which I question for the record. This was a top 200 kid recruit, very highly ranked linebacker, highly ranked in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
I question this ranking based on what we saw on film as a tackler, his redshirt freshman year. I don't know if that's accurate or not, or if I guess he redshirted this year. So it was his sophomore year, and now he's a redshirt sophomore after coming out of this year because he redshirted this year. I'm still calling this a medium impact despite his lower ranking that I don't agree with. This one definitely stings a little. And again, surprises. Here's another one of my surprises on here. I suspect the ranking is due to the injury last year, as I mentioned, because his film for 24 season was very good. I mean, very good. And I do think it's a linebacker that certainly makes your rotation, right, here or elsewhere. And so that's why it hurts, right? I think he's in the rotation. I don't know that he starts with this crew that's out there, right? With Childs and Graham being there, and even Robinson. I don't know that he starts, but he's in the rotation, man. He can play. I just don't know why he wants to leave when you get a defensive-minded head coach who used to be a linebacker. Like, what more could you want as an up-and-coming linebacker? I don't get it, man. It's scratching my head. Maybe too many kids in the room. Maybe Ty Jackson is the real deal and he doesn't want to compete with them. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he wants to go start somewhere and he doesn't think he'll start here, and that's the motivator. I'm just not sure. It's definitely got some sting to me. Again, bit of a head scratcher here. I don't know why you don't want to play for this staff and the experience they have with developing good linebackers and being good linebackers. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, again, head scratcher and a medium sting for me. What you got?
Interesting. Here are my notes, B. Brad White, former linebacker, defensive coach.
Yep.
Pup Howard, we know he was banged up. We know he was injured. But at the end of the day, when he was healthy, we saw him make an impact on the field. I will agree with you there. That is a medium for me as well.
Fair enough.
Tough time.
All right.
Tough there.
Yeah.
Moving.
Yeah, it is a little tough for sure.
Yeah, man.
Next up on the list,
Let's go.
Jameer, right?
Jameer, Jamrock Grimsley, your sophomore cornerback, blah, blah, blah. Nationally, number 408, cornerback number 45. Seems pretty high, but for me, the sting factor, thanks for the therapy session earlier. I'll take the emotion out of it. The sting factor is low. I repeat, low. What you got, B?
Yeah, this is a top 200 kid that's now 405 in the portal. Are you kidding me? Yep. Almost a top 100 kid, once again, if I remember my recruiting rankings correctly. Snuck this kid away from Alabama, thought it was a huge steal, turned into a nothing burger. Depth piece that didn't make the two deep in 2 seasons, once again. Potentially more talented than some of the others we're losing, potentially, but I'm not losing sleep here. Again, the only concern I have here is we got some depth at corner issues that are developing as we lose some of these guys. And that's something we have to address. But other than that, I mean, the sting factor is nil here. He wasn't playing. Right. So, he only came in relief when we were down like a bunch of guys. And even then, he kept going off the field in lieu of freshmen. We were playing Flowers and Hanks out there over him. So what are we talking about here? Sting factor low, for sure.
There's a reason.
That's right. So next up, Hayden Hansen. We talked about guys being ranked too low. I have an opinion on this ranking. Overrated. I don't know about this one at all. 174th overall. What? And 9th ranked tight end. Are you sure? Because I'm not watching the same film you are on 3. Um, Low sting factor first and foremost, and questionable ranking in my opinion, to say the least. He is a decent blocker, though not always reliable, and has certainly missed blocks from time to time, as we have seen on film. Has good hands for a guy his size. I will say that he catches the ball pretty well, though did have a couple of drops, but not bad. But not a good route runner, certainly, unless it's a straight line, and definitely not a ton of speed, right? And for his size, I feel like he's tackled relatively easily. He doesn't like bull guy. He's 6'7", like 270, and he goes down relatively easily. He doesn't like take 4 or 5 guys piling on him to go down. So 174th and ninth, how? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not concerned here. I wish him well. It's not hating on Aiden. I just don't see the ranking. And good luck with the Sooners, because he's already committed to Oklahoma. So they must see something in him, but I don't get it. Thoughts?
Yeah, the Sooners, I'm telling you, from that Oklahoma fan base, they're actually saying, no, send him back. Take him back. We don't want him. Folks, I guess he had a favorable experience with one of the grading specialists. I have no idea. But at 6'6.5", 6'7", 265, 200, whatever he's listed as, it's almost like a basketball player who's 6'10", but plays like he's 6'4". That's what Hayden is, for whatever reason. And not to mention, the fact of the matter is, when you look at his targets compared to receptions, it's around 47%, less than half. So there is a degree of difficulty with catching the football, besides the fact that you are a very large human being with large hands. Yeah, decent, above, not even above, average to below average blocker, low, low, low sting factor.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. And again, somebody that we have already potentially replaced with a group of 5 tight end. And frankly, I think it's probably comparable. We'll talk about that later. The only difference would be size. So anyway, all right. On to the next, Micah.
On to the next, Mr. Mekhi Burrows. So for those of you that know, had a massive interception that sealed the game for us, that we probably would have been in a position to lose. But your sophomore defensive lineman, nationally 125 in the D-line class, number 11. Yep. So for me, I was high on Mekhi when he came in, when we were recruiting him away from Georgia. Again, 6'5.5", 6'6", 360 glorious pounds. He made himself known. He was a presence. He was a force. For me, with this D-line, with what Brad White wants to do, for me, this is actually going to be my first high on the sting factor, B. So wow. That's my take on Mekhi.
Yeah, he would.
What you got?
I'm vacillating on it being high. I have it as medium, but it's close.
Sure.
I think again, there's an emotional factor here. I love Micah too. I think he played really well, showed real promise this year on film, as you mentioned. And again, head scratcher, right? This is number 3, and I think I lied. I think I have 4 head scratchers here, but
4, yeah.
This is why. Where are you going to do what? You could start, dude. Like Banks is gone. Your competition for a starting role just left and went out the door. Why are you leaving? I don't understand. Taking what I saw on film, you're a shoo-in for this kid. Like, what are you doing? I don't get it, man. I don't get, again, defensive-minded head coach. You keep your defensive line coach, so that's not it, right? Chapman was retained, the only one you kept. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. I don't understand. Are you money chasing? I don't get it, because we should have been willing to compensate you pretty well. I don't get it. This one might be actually, I have to think about this versus the other one that I have on my list, but huge head. I know that what the other one is, and it's debatable, but this is up there for me as a head scratcher. I don't get it. It definitely stings though, and I believe he's either already. I don't think he's committed yet, but he's being looked at and should be. I mean, this kid can play for his size. He's got a lot of good movement. I do hate this one, and it is. I have it as medium, but it's close to a high because he had a real impact. I guess the only reason I would say it's not high is because we do have guys behind him that did stay. right? We kept McLeod, we kept Mbachu, and those kids can move. And we just had a nice portal pickup today that I think is also going to be very helpful in that regard. So I think because of that, um, the sting factor is not super high just because it's not going to leave a void, right? But otherwise it would be high. Without that, it would be. So I think that's the thing that's differentiating for me is that he won't be sorely missed, right? So there you go.
And it looks like as a couple of hours to go, it looks like the commit is to Ole Miss of all places.
Oh man. Oh, come on. Chiefs, that's
like you said, head scratcher.
It's better than Georgia. It's better than Georgia, whatever.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because that's where he was going to leave and go to before. So it's better than Georgia. All right. Next up, Nashawn Montgomery, 104th overall, 50th ranked wide receiver. Again, this is a little questionable because it fell a little bit from his recruiting, and I don't really know why. Yeah, he didn't see the field a ton, but he wasn't going to. Here, I got to go with low, but it's borderline because there was a lot of potential with Nashawn. But this is likely just a situation where you've got too much talent above you on the roster or experience or both, right? And so you just wanted more snaps, which, again, for a kid with talent, which he is, I get it. Right, I get it. Good luck to him moving forward. I hate losing him, but welcome to the NIL, space. And it's not even just the NIL space in terms of dollars, right? It's also in terms of snap share. Hail Florida Hail, a really nice article on this. I thought it made a really good point about snap share and why this is, a thing that we have to look at moving forward. So it's kudos to them on that. But yeah, so that's my take. I do have it as low. Just because I don't know that he obviously didn't see the field much. Not sure that he was going to see the field that much. So for me, that makes it a low impact. So what do you got?
Yeah, man, a lot of hype on Nashawn coming out of Miami Central, I believe. A lot of great stats on him, a lot of great speed. But for this one, I have to say, just because we did not see much of him or Matt at all, I have no emotional commitment to this. So on that basis, the sting factor is low as well.
Fair enough. Moving on.
Enoch Wangoy. You heard me. Enoch Wangoy. Yes, folks, that was a redshirt freshman offensive tackle on our team. Was originally a 3-star. Overall, nationally right now ranks 1001 in the defensive line room, number 67. Sting factor low, because I'm sure as most of you are probably scratching your heads, who is that? That's right. Did not see him play. Very low sting factor. B, anything else to add on Enoch?
Nope. Always a bit of a flyer. I would say him and Noel, who's next up, were always kind of flyers, right? They were kids from across the pond ultimately, they were always taken as a bit of a chance here. Were they ever really going to play in the SEC? I don't know, but they were basically just depth pieces, and no worries here. So to that end, next up, Noel Portnyagan.
Good job, bless you.
Thank you. that's a fun last name. I get another fun one later. 990th overall and 67th ranked offensive tackle. Again, low for the sting factor, basically the same as Enoch, as I just mentioned, perhaps a hair more upside than he had. But again, both these guys were going to be lucky to even see a rotational pieces, right, in the SEC, much less start. That just wasn't likely to happen. So again, wish them well. Hope they do something somewhere. All the best to them. No hard feelings, right? But this makes sense, and let's move it out and get some guys that are hopefully going to be at least rotational pieces, if not more. So there you go. Next.
Winner. Next up, we've got Mr. Eugene Wilson the third, aka Tricky Trey. Came in as a 4-star. Right now, nationally ranks number 52, and in the wide receiver room, number 11. So I was back and forth on this. So obviously, Trey was banged up. It was a congenital or genetic disorder when he had the hip surgery last year. came back. Definitely was not used to his potential, but Trey was twitchy and tricky and all those things. And I would love to see him in this offense, trying to not throw too much emotion into it, but still he has an electric factor that you just cannot deny. So that's why I have him, the sting factor on Trey, as high. Would have loved to see him finish career in the orange and blue and all the different abilities that he has from an athletic standpoint. Would have loved to see on display in a different offense, a more effective and efficient offense that was able to utilize him more. What do you got?
So I'm going to say something here, and it's going to sound mean, and I don't mean it to be mean, but it's going to sound mean. So my
Why
sting
you got
factor,
to be
let me
so
start off by saying this. My sting factor is medium, but barely. And
okay?
I mean barely because it's right there at the high number. Like it only just got down to medium, and there's a few reasons why. But the first one I'll start with is Trey took to wearing this thing that said Yak on the back of his jersey this year, right on his back of his pads, really. And that must have meant yards after catch, because it damn sure didn't mean yards after contact. Because man, you could touch him with a feather and he went down. That is my knock on Trey. Is man, he could not. Anybody could tackle this dude. I could probably go down from the stands and tackle him, man. And again, that's why I say it sounds mean, but geez, man, he couldn't break a tackle to save his life, and it was killer. You watch Furnell, man, and he gets out of tackles all the time, doing the same things that Trey was doing from the slot, and it's like, where was this when we needed it, man? So anyway, that was always a knock that I had there, but I'm being harsh about it. But the point is that he really did struggle with that. And to your point, we definitely saw glimpses of what Trey could be capable of in the UGA game when he wasn't used as just a gimmick guy. But then what happened? He got hurt again, right? Health has continued to be an issue for him. And that's the question mark for me moving forward and why I put him as a medium, right? If he can go somewhere else and be both productive and healthy, then this has a lot more sting to it, right? But if he continues to be less than available, this lowers the pain, right, for me. But again, I'm a little surprised by the decision here. This one is, I won't call it a head scratcher, but I do think there was an opportunity for him to do well in this new offense. But perhaps it's just a question, again, of snap counts and targets and things of that nature. He's getting to be where, you're looking to go to the draft and he wants to make sure he can showcase some stuff in his last year. So, I mean, this doesn't have to be his last year, but like maybe he wants it to be. And so he wants to go to a place where he can really show out and show off and all that. And maybe just didn't see that being here. I can see that. So this isn't one where I'm like, what, like those other ones. But again, I do think there was a place for him to play on this team, but again, maybe just not as much as he wanted to. So I guess I get it. And again, I would say that the sting factor for me is almost going to be dependent on how healthy is he and what kind of impact can he have elsewhere to whether or not it hurts that much, right? If he goes out and plays a couple good games and gets hurt again, I'm gonna be like, well, yep, that's pretty much what we thought, right? And it's not gonna hurt much at all. But if he goes out and stays healthy and has a tremendous season somewhere, I'm gonna be like, man, come on. So that's my thoughts on Trey, and he'll be missed regardless. It's been good to have him around for sure, and from what I know, he has a great work ethic and all that stuff. So good on him, and again, wish him the best. No hard feelings with any of these guys, for the record.
Yep.
And as long as they don't go to Florida State or Georgia, then we're fine. All right. Next up, Sharif Denson. So I have some interesting thoughts on this and another player at this position that I'll get to here that I think you might find funny. But 343rd overall, 34th ranked corner. Again, drop off from his recruiting ranking. I don't remember the specific numbers on those, but it's lower. If I were to put him and Gates together, right, him and Aaron together into one player, right, if I could mold these guys into one, I think I might have even mentioned this before previously, then I would have this as a medium sting. But by himself, this is a low. Still too many issues on film, specifically with tackling for Sharif, and we'll get to Gates later. But for me, it just can't hurt that much for a guy who's playing nickel and just doesn't tackle all that well, consistently anyway. It does create a need, however, because we lost him and Gates at nickel and Josiah too, right? So you do need to fill that need, and we haven't as of yet. So that is something we have to address. We'll get to that. But not a huge impact, even though he was a starter, and I get that, and so was Gates, debatably, right? They're kind of both starters. So there's an impact there in terms of filling the void, right? But not not anything where I'm like, oh man, he was so good, right? This doesn't hurt like when we lost. I'll lose the name. He went to Texas A&M, Florida West. Shouldn't have called him Texas A&M. Should have called him Timo because that's the new name.
Yes, that is.
And boy, did they look like Timo against Miami. Oh, buddy. But man, I can't remember his name. He was here and he played really good at nickel for us for a season and then transferred out.
Not Scooby?
Man. No. Scooby's linebacker.
Oh,
It'll come back to me. I'll get it later. Anyway, what's your thought on Sharif?
Development, inconsistent, low. It's just a low sting factor. And here's another one going to Ole Miss. So,
Yeah, I did see that one.
Goodbye, Sharif. There's a new Sharif at Ole Miss. So over there in the Grove, whatever they call it. So enjoy that. Moving on. Next on the docket, Mr. Jaden Woods, your star freshman edge, 4-star, nationally number 12 in the portal, and in the edge room, number 4. So for this, I'm not going to say the sting yet. This just in, Zach Appleverdy reporting by way of my co-host here. Jaden Woods is currently meeting with Florida coach John Summerall, defensive coordinator Brad White, and outside linebackers coach Bam Hardman. Multiple sources tell Gators Online. Yep. Folks, that was roughly an hour ago.
Yep, that's right.
Big news. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, shoelaces crossed, legs crossed, whatever. Hopefully they can have productive discussions. Hopefully the number, because let's face it, folks, this is the NFL, right? Hey, what can you pay me? What am I worth? Let's hope the number makes sense. Let's hope the scheme makes sense. Let's hope they're able to bridge that relationship gap. Because for me, this would be an absolutely high sting. Outside of the emotion, look at Jaden. Look at what he did this past year. Look at how much he got into the backfield. And I love the edge position. I crave the edge position. If I had the size and the abilities, I would play edge myself. It's such a crucial spot on the D-line. High factor, high sting, because Jaden Woods is everything we expected him to be as a true freshman. And I know he still has the room to develop. B, what are your thoughts on Jaden? Because I know you were high on this kid.
Oh yeah, obviously I made him my impact player on defense, right? Of the year. So sting factor is, I don't know if high is a big enough word, but it right now has a big asterisk by it, right? Because if we're able to retain this, it becomes just massive.
Yes.
It's the biggest get back on defense potentially, borderline. If we had a loss like Miles Graham, that would have been worse, but that wasn't happening. So this one's huge. I mean, it's just huge. By the way, the corner or the nickel I was thinking of was Jaden Hill. Jaden Hill was the one I was missing. Yes. But going back to Woods here, this one flat hurts if it happens, right? Massive potential here and showed it on the field as well. Huge upside to be a dominant force at edge, right? And honestly, the only way we don't feel the big sting here is what we just talked about. There were already rumors buzzing on this. Summerall had a Zoom meeting on Sunday night with him on this, and obviously now they're meeting in person with the whole staff, which they did with Baugh, and they kept Baugh. So fingers crossed they can work that magic again, man. Though Baugh obviously was not in the portal, so it's a little different. Again, I'm confused here. Here's my last head scratcher. Why are you leaving? Based on the film I have seen, why wouldn't you stay? You're worried about competing with McCray? Like, your film's better than LJ's. I love LJ. I think he's got potential through the roof, but you have a good chance to compete for the starting job and win it. So why are you leaving? Come back, Jaden. We love you, dude. Like, where are you going and why? It's been reported that it's not money. So what are you doing? I don't get it, man. Like, I don't get it. Again, the only thing I can say is your position coach did leave because technically this is Mike Peterson, not Gerald Chapman. Right. So maybe that's a factor, but like, really? Is it? I don't know, man. This one, head scratcher again. Like, you could start on a team that's going to be at least hopefully better defensively, more defensive with a defensive minded head coach. Like, why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's very confusing. So here's hoping they can sway him back, man, because they're certainly fighting for him, and I love it. So good on him. Good on him for trying, whether they get him or not. Good on the staff for putting in the effort. I love that that is happening, and I love that they are doing their best. I love that they see the value that we see in him, because certainly on film that's being seen, and I love that that's happening. And for the record, I love that we're hearing about it. One of the biggest things that I hated about what was going on with Napier is we never knew anything, man. And so, like, maybe he was trying to do some of these things and maybe he wasn't. I don't know. We never knew. He was so big on this secrecy crap. And it's like, you know what? If things don't go your way, but the fans knew you tried, they're going to think better of you because they know you tried. Okay? They're not going to think you're in. Now, listen, if you try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, okay, yeah, they're going to run out of patience. But if you try 10 times and succeed 6 or whatever, like, they're going to be like, all right, man, he's trying. Yeah, you can't win them all, right? But like, I don't know, man. Like, I think all that secrecy and cloak and dagger crap that he was always doing, I don't think that was to his benefit at all. And so I like that we're hearing about some of this stuff. So I think that's a good thing for John. So all right, moving along. Up next, Cameron Costman, 1,845 overall. Good for On3 for going that far down the list. 94th ranked tight end. Low. Developmental player, unlikely to see the field. Best of luck to you, bud. That's all I got. What do you got?
I don't know what else to say other than low. I mean, he didn't see the field. I understand how he got brought in. Was a very high 2-star, potentially 3-star, but he wasn't even used in garbage time. So low.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, up next, Aaron Gates. Bring it on.
AG redshirt sophomore, your corner star position, 3-star coming in right now, nationally ranked 777 in the cornerback / star room, number 92. Yep. And a sting factor for me is going to be low. I had this as a medium. I vacillated back and forth, finished with a low. I will say this: ACL, came back ahead of schedule and did some great things at the star position, but ultimately just didn't get to the level where he was at before athletically. And so for me, for AG, great kid, had some great abilities, just wasn't the same coming back, and that's why I have his factor as a low B.
So it's interesting. I didn't look up his ranking, but it's almost shocking to me that he's that much lower. But it shows you what On3 values in their rankings of corners, right? Because he is a cornerback, even though he plays nickel. It shows you what they rank in corner, and it's coverage. Because the liability with Gates, as I mentioned, you want him and Denson together as a player, right? The liability with him is coverage. Right. So Sharif, to remind you, was 343rd overall on the 34th ranked corner. He's 700 something. Right. The reason why is Gates can't cover anybody. He's a liability in pass coverage. Often misplay or flat out blow coverages from the slot. So again, as long as we replace both of them with one guy who can play corner and both tackle and cover, right, we're fine here. And he doesn't need to be a stud. He just needs to be solid. And then you pick up the slack for both of these, because Gates was great at getting in the backfield and making great tackles for losses and some outstanding plays, but don't ask him to cover anybody. You need him in when it's a run and you need Sharif in when it's a pass, and then you're fine. But good luck calling that play to play, down to down, right? You can't just swap them out once the play starts, right? So it's a little bit of a problem there. All right, moving along. Treyon Webb, running back, 584th overall, 65th ranked running back, a 3-star that was a 4-star as a recruit. So once again, a drop off here. And you saw this with almost all these guys, by the way. Almost everybody dropped from their recruit rank that we're losing. There were a couple that did go up, but only a couple. So again, here, impact is low. As much as we would like some of what we saw from Webb when he played, he just didn't play much. Too many injury concerns here. As the saying goes, and to quote, I don't know how famous it is, but the best ability is availability. I hope he can get healthy and play somewhere, right? I wish him the best, But as far as how much impact it's having, almost none, because he doesn't see the field because he's not healthy. So, if that happens and he goes somewhere and does that, great, good for him. What do you got?
Yeah, Trayon, really tough because a lot of promise here, but I think it boils down to the two eyes, right? Injury and inconsistency. So 584 speaks for itself. 65th, great that you broke the top 100 for running backs, but I think that's only because he's got some scar tissue, literally and figuratively, is because he's seeing a lot of snaps at a decent amount, not a lot, of snaps at the SEC level. But yes, I agree, B. I would put the sting factor as low.
Yep, for sure. All right, next up, Jack Cheese.
Hey, guess what? From a one running back to the other running back. Jacoby Jackson, your senior running back, right? Overall rated as 3-star. Right now ranks nationally 330, and in the running back room 34. Almost cut Trayon's rankings in half. Sting factor for me: Jacoby's older, had a few injury concerns down the stretch, but at the end of the day, a great teammate, and not to mention knows the position well. Still had gas in the tank, we know that. So not going to call it a high sting factor, but because of his knowledge, the amount of snaps that he's had, and all the scar tissue, I'm going to put him the sting factor there as a medium. So he was a dependable back, a good back to have because of his tenure and experience. What do you got, B?
Yeah, I like your analysis there. I didn't think of it that way. I looked at this purely as like on-field production stuff and whether or not it could be replaced or not, or would be replaced, right? So I like your take there though, because there is more to that. There are intangibles, right, and things of that nature. I have it as a low because I think the potential that he looked to have coming into this year, and then he got hurt and didn't play, right? And looking at the addition that we have coming in with Pryor and now with Baugh coming back, I don't think we have a depth or production issue in the backfield, right? You still have oh man, blanking on the freshman we had this year's name. All I can think is Chad Gasper, and obviously that's not it. Duke Clark, thank you, Duke. Thank you. So you got Duke Clark coming back for more depth, right? Obviously, we've still got a couple other guys back there as well behind him. So to me, it's not going to cost us in production or depth. So I looked at it as low from that perspective, but you're not wrong. Like those things do matter. And you're right, great teammate and all those things that matters from a chemistry standpoint. So yeah, I can see your point there. And I like your take. I think production wise, it's low for me as a hit, but there are some other things there. So with that, we are at the end finally of the departures list. It is a long list currently, certainly. And it could still grow. The portal's open till next Friday. And if anybody else does go in here, we'll certainly talk about it, at least briefly, especially if it's of any kind of significance. But hopefully, we're pretty much done. We don't know that, certainly. But the idea is, a lot of the key guys have already announced that they're coming back. For the most part, I think there's maybe one or two that we still need to hear from, but I think most of the guys we care about at this point have decided, and then certainly, obviously, we'll hope to hear news on Jaden here that is of a positive nature. So, changing gears, let's talk about the additions so far, and there are a lot more than there were yesterday. So we've got a few to get into here. Get us started here with DJ Coleman. 119th overall out of Baylor, 10th ranked safety. So if you want to flash back to earlier, and I know it was a while ago now, but the safety we're losing is Jordan Castell, 301 national, 26th ranked safety. Can you say upgrade? So my excitement factor here, I'm going to keep it at medium. But he looks solid from the early film I've seen and some stats from last year. He played in all 12 of their games, 46 tackles, 2 picks. Nothing that pops off the page, but he looks decent, and he looks good in coverage and against the run. Looks like he knows how to come up and make a tackle. Jordan should probably watch that film some more. So there are some good things to see here, and I think he'll be a solid replacement. I think he could start for us, honestly. He looks pretty good. And should play nicely along with Thornton back there. So yeah, medium factor here. What are your thoughts?
Nice one. When I looked at DJ, yeah, saw some good things on the 2 or 3 clips that I saw. Outside of that, the only concern I had, well, besides the fact that yes, he's ranked higher than Castell, the only concern I have is his height listed at 5'11", maybe 6 foot, right? 175, 180 pounds. So that's my only missing link there in that safety
Sure.
position. So I'm going to put him as a medium.
Yep.
Medium
Yep.
there. So solid.
Yep. I think it's a good pickup. I think it's a good pickup. It's a nice replacement. Looks to be a good piece. And we'll see what happens. Potentially more to come there. But yeah, no, I like it. I think it's a good pickup. And again, we also came back with both Laganza and Drake. They both re-signed. So both of our freshman safeties are coming back too. So plenty of depth in the room. I just wanted some more experience, and I think this provides it. So it's good. It's good.
Exactly. There
Who's
you go.
next?
Well said. Well, next up, we've got a tight end, Lakota Dupre. Some might say Dupree. I say Dupre. It's French. I don't know. 3-star overall. Nationally, number 602. And then in the tight end room, number 29. Excitement factor here, medium. Let's see what he has to offer. Hopefully his hands are better than Hayden's. Hopefully he can block, but at the end of the day, 6'4", 245 pounds. Not going to go low on this, not going to go high on this. I'm going to go medium, even keel, B.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep it the same rating I had for the loss of Hayden. I got it as low because I'm not sure there's that much upside in a replacement over Hayden, but I think he does the job well in both blocking and the pass game from what I've seen from him at JMU, right? Ironic that he's coming from JMU where Billy went, right? Billy comes in and he leaves. That's funny. It will be questionable to see if he can transition to SEC play because he's coming from Group of 5, right? Always something you got to watch. But his numbers look decent, 6'4", right? 200 and change. It looks fine as far as the size factor goes. And, you go look at it, though. Tell me how this kid is 600 something and Hayden's in the top 200. Explain it to me when you look at the film. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't get it. Again, you want to rank them tight end somewhat differently, okay? But again, how the hell is Hayden a top 200 player in the transfer portal? I do not get it. I am lost in a sea of questions with that one. But I'll leave it alone. Move on. Bailey Stockton, 591st overall, 94th ranked wide receiver. That's a lot of wide receivers in the top 600. I'm just saying. That's almost 100 wide receivers in the top 600 players. Excitement factor here low again, likely a depth piece at receiver. I don't think he's seeing the field that much, but good to replace some of the guys that we lost, right? So important nonetheless to just, hold some of the depth in there. I do like the fact that he's familiar with the OC, so I'll make the point here, kind of like you made about Jacoby. Should be quick to transition to the system and potentially could help other guys in the room with the transition to the system, right? Somebody who knows the offensive coordinator and how he runs his scheme. Even if that scheme varies somewhat from Georgia Tech, he's going to know how he calls the plays, like what the playbook looks like, even if those plays aren't exactly the same. So I think that matters, right? We talked about continuity in coaching. I think some continuity in players is good too. We'll get to more of that later, obviously, when we get to the quarterback. But moving on from there, what's your thoughts on Bailey?
Yeah. I think I'm with you there. Correct me if I'm wrong. You did say low, correct?
I did. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just wanted to clarify. I think it's low as well. Number 589, number 91 in the wide receiver room. That's fine. I look in the sense of 5'8.5", 5'9", 175. I'm 5'10", 182. So you know what? It's another piece to have, and I like your take on the fact that he knows the offense, and despite his athletic abilities, he should be able to assist in getting these wide receivers coached up literally and figuratively on the routes, the offense, the scheme. So I think it's a great piece on that end, but definitely low impact.
Yep, for sure. All right. Moving on to DK.
DK Kalu. Here we go, folks. All right,
like DJ Khalid. We're real close.
I was wondering. I was trying to make a spin on that, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to push it. Redshirt sophomore. He's got plenty of playing time and eligibility on the defensive line. 3-star. Nationally, number 891, but in the D-line room, 83. Excitement factor. is going to be medium for me because he's coming from Baylor. And here's the thing, man. I had this at high. I was looking at it again. I'm like, okay, 3-star coming from Baylor. I saw the tape of it, did some good things on Baylor. What does that look like? It's close to SEC play. I don't want to get too overhyped. I know I get overhyped on some guys when I see the film. And so that's why I have him as a medium, B. What do you got?
Yeah, I got him as low. There's nothing in the stats or the film that I saw that screams, real excitement here. I think it's a depth piece at D-line, which is fine. Yeah. Size helps fill the gap, which is important for interior linemen, right? He's not big, but he's big enough. And sometimes that's important, but there's nothing here, the stats are nothing to write home about, half a sack and 11 tackles or something like that. So for me, it's just low from an excitement factor, but not because I don't think it's important or matters. Again, we needed to put some depth back into this position, and we've done that, which is good. Him and another, which I am more excited about, but ultimately, I think it's I think it's good. But that doesn't get my meter running that hot here. So, sure. All right, next up, Evan Pryor. 164th overall, 16th ranked running back, medium, but very, very close to high for me. The only reason I won't go high is because he has not produced as much as a collegiate back as his recruiting ranking would have indicated. He is formerly from Cincinnati, but also Ohio State, which is where he originally committed. Just did not get the time or the shine there, so he went to Cincinnati and then now obviously here. But to have this kid with blazing speed, I was talking to somebody earlier, I think he's clocked in at a 4.29 previously at running back. It's pretty doggone fast. This is a 1-2 punch with Jaden. Hoo-wee, power and speed, man. Love it. Again, production hasn't always lived up, but his last season was his best season as a collegiate running back. Really, really like it. Think it's a great pickup. One I don't think we were necessarily expected to get when he hit the portal. They kind of flipped this one a little bit. So love it. Love that we're pulling in some stuff. Foster doing some work here. Kudos to him. Nice grab. So medium, but bordering on high.
Yeah, I think that's well said. 164th overall, 16 in the running back room, top 20 running back in the portal. Yes, please. Yep. Is it going to be on the high side? We'll have to wait and see this fall. But outside of that, solid pickup, good pickup, mathematically a very good addition, and that's why I have it as a medium as well.
Yep, for sure. All right, okay. Give me TJ.
TJ Shanahan. No relation to the Shanahan clan, that is, but 3-star, nationally number 327, interior offensive lineman, and that room number 25.
Yep, solid.
Excitement factor there for me is going to be a medium. This is going to be a room that we need to do some work in. Especially look at the departures and everything else that's happened. And guess what? Our new O-line coach, Mr. Phil Troutwain, is at work because this is one of the flips from Penn State, where Coach Troutwain just came from. So overall, nothing fancy here. You're looking at someone who's 6'4", 6'5", 320, 325 pounds. He's got some good fundamentals to him, and he's coming home. He's out of Westlake High School down there in Orlando, Florida. But again, this is a position that we definitely need to replenish, especially when you look at the new scheme coming in. I have him as a medium. Good job, Coach Troutwain. What do you got, B?
Yep, same here. Medium. Listen, it is difficult. I will say maybe it's a little easier this cycle because there's only one portal, so there's so many kids in it. So maybe it's a little easier than it has been, which is great for us because normally it is so hard to find quality offensive linemen in the portal, right? It's normally just depth pieces that you're not really going to play, maybe hit practice squad, whatever. But this is a good get. He's a 25th ranked lineman, and it's not 25 guys that are worth a crap, right? This kid can play, right? And so again, like you said, hats off to Phil. This is one of two that we already have, and there's likely a third on the way from everything that we're hearing. Likely a Jake Slaughter replacement, if you will, though realistically we may already have that on the roster. But But Phil, again, making his presence felt in Gainesville early here, and I love it. Nice get, could definitely crack the two deep, and frankly, he might start at right guard, replacing one Devin George. So, or Damian George, excuse me, mixed up names there. So yeah, this is solid, man. This is a nice pickup. Definitely, I think could crack the two deep, as I mentioned. So, yeah, really, really good stuff here. All right, next up, your new possible starting quarterback in one Aaron Philo. I don't know that he will start, in fairness, but he could. 141st overall, 18th ranked quarterback in the portal. I like this pickup. He knows Faulkner's offense, as I already mentioned. I think that's an asset and gives us a good place to start from moving into next season. Again, don't know that definitively he's going to be a starter. It's been stated already that every position is up for grabs and up for competition in camp from Summerall. Love that. Absolutely love that. Nothing is guaranteed, which is probably why DJ's not here. And again, I think that's great. But I think odds are decent that he has a good shot to start, again, because of his familiarity, his understanding, right? I think that's going to give him an edge. But it doesn't mean that it happens, right? So, but more importantly than any of that is we needed to have another option, as I mentioned, when DJ decided to leave at quarterback, and now we do, which is fantastic. So good stuff here, solid pickup. I'd actually like to see us grab another quarterback if possible, just for depth, but it's not a deal breaker if we don't. So really good stuff here. Good pickup by the staff. Well done. Thoughts?
And I assume you have that as a medium, B?
Yeah, I think I said it, but if I didn't, yes, a medium.
Good deal. No, same thing. I mean, I think the key thing you hit on was familiarity with the offense. And I think the other thing that we look at from the offensive standpoint in knowing what we would like to see at Florida, in knowing what Coach Summerall stated in his press conference, this is going to be an incredible area to not only live up to, but deliver on. And so with this goes, does he have the potential to start? Obviously, Tramel Jones is going to be in the mix there, our freshman out of Mandarin High School, who's shown to have some competency about him. Let's see how he adjusts to this new offense with Faulkner. But yes, Philo has cardinal knowledge of the offense. He's been with Faulkner for a while. And so it's just going to be a solid pickup. So I'd say a medium as well there on my end.
Nice. Who's next?
Okay. Who is next? Why? We got to go down under. Here we go, folks. Alec Clark. Alec Clark. In case you were wondering, here's another Australian punter out of Swanview, Australia. 6 foot, 184 pounds. Folks, not a lot of data on him. All I'm going to read off is this. Last year, 48 punts, 2,233 yards, 5 touchbacks, had a 10% touchback percentage. We're looking at about just under 42 yards per punt net. Okay. For the team punting rankings for Tulane, because yes, he is coming from Tulane with Coach Summerall, 26th overall. Not too terrible, right? His long punt last year, also 70 yards. In comparison, we have Mr. Tommy Doman that came over from Michigan the year prior. Last year, Tommy, 50 punts, 2,202 yards, about 44-ish yards of punt. But after you take the net out of it, Florida ranked number 39 in net punting overall. So Florida, 39 net punting overall. Tulane, 26th net punting overall. I'd say that's a bit of an upgrade. As far as the excitement factor, I have it as a medium. So there you go, B. What do you have as far as Mr. Alec Clark, the punter from down under?
Yeah, for sure. Medium. Always like an Aussie punter. You gotta love it. And it seems like he was effective as Tulane, as you mentioned. I'm not mad at it. Medium as well. I do think we should make mention, because we didn't earlier, we did not have Evan Newell or Hayden Craig or the long snapper, whose name eludes me right now, all of which are also transferring out. We did not make mention of them in the list. They didn't have a ranking, so we didn't go into it, and they haven't seen the field, obviously, because we had other guys playing. So we did not do a breakdown on them, but they are all transferring out. So we did need to bring in some specialist guys. That is obviously one of them. The other one is the kicker in Patrick Durkin, also coming from Tulane. No rankings on these guys, just because of their special teams affiliation. I also have him as a medium, though I could border it on a high. If he had a little bigger leg, he'd be a high for me. Seventh highest field goal percentage, seventh highest field goal per game rate in the country last season, and an 89.3% make rate, going 25 for 28 with a long of 52. So again, he doesn't have max leg, he doesn't have his distance, but I will take the accuracy. That is strong. 90% basically, that's pretty good. We've been asking for that for Trey for 3 seasons and haven't got it. So pretty good stuff on the accuracy rate. So we'll see how he does in a little higher pressure environment and some louder stadiums. But man, 89.3 is nothing to shake a stick at. So Patrick Durkin, your new kicker. Thoughts?
Yep, not at all. And it doesn't matter if you're kicking in New Orleans or whatever stadium it is, the Swamp. Hey man, accuracy means the world. Obviously, we felt it last year in more ways than 10. But no, I agree. Solid pickup, decent pickup, medium. That's all there is to say about that.
Fair enough. Moving on.
And by the way, the other special teams that entered the portal, the long snapper, I remember his name just because I thought it was a neat name, but Mac Mulhern, long snapper.
Oh, yes, Mac Mulhern. That's right. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Moving on. Who got next up is going to be Mr. Egan Boyer. Egan Boyer, redshirt freshman. He's got a lot of years of eligibility. Came out as a 3-star. Nationally right now, 603. And in the offensive tackle room, number 43. Excitement factor for Egan, based off of the tell, medium right now. But here's another impact one as far as where did he come from?
Penn
State. Coach Troutwing doing what he can do. So let's see if we can turn Egan from 3-star. Let's get him a little bit higher, right? Overall ranked of 87 in his grade. So another great pickup. We need to replenish that offensive tackle line, especially if we're going to run this type of offense with Faulkner. And so kudos for Coach Troutwing for picking up, or actually flipping, another recruit. But for me, it's a medium. B, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, no, it is a pickup. It's a transfer. So this is good. It is technically a transfer because he was a redshirt freshman. So yeah, Phil back to work, bringing in the big boys from the Big Ten. I love it. Again, it's not that easy to do, as there just are not that many, right? That enter the portal. But we'll take it as we very much need to add depth on the O-line. Again, probably more of a depth piece here, at least next year, certainly, and possibly beyond. But it's solid. We needed more of it, and we're getting more of it. Again, the rumor is the Georgia Tech starting center is likely headed our way. All reports indicate that. It just hasn't been officially committed yet. So that's the other one that's on the docket here, but we're not going to do that one because it's not official yet. Last up on the list of additions is Emmanuel Oyebadejo.
Bless you.
Yeah. That's another name that I got to struggle with on this one, but I believe that's pronounced correctly. I'm going to hope it is. So the 133rd overall player, I believe the highest ranking of anybody we have coming in. Coleman's higher. But barely. So the highest player we have coming in is Coleman. That's crazy. But 12th overall ranked defensive lineman here. I have this as a medium man, but it's borderline high. This kid's stats are eye-popping for a defensive tackle. And again, but it's Conference USA, so that's why I kept it as a medium, because it's not like he's coming from a Power 4. But the potential here looks sky high. Definitely a potential replacement for Mackay here. Last year's stats, for a D lineman are outstanding. 43 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. And he's not an edge rusher. He's an interior lineman. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So we have to keep perspective, like I said, Conference USA, but he's 6'7", 315. And he's not like, he's not built like Mackay. He's built like, I don't know, Shaq, he is huge, man. It feels like he can make some impacts in the SEC. If we're right about it, this is a monster get, man. I mean, a monster get. He was also projected 97% to go to Missouri, and we flipped him at the last minute to come. So this is a big get. Hats off to the staff here. Hats off to Gerald Chapman, your boy, getting this one done. Big time get. I'm pretty high on this one. So I guess maybe my excitement factor has to be high, even though I said it was medium, because you can tell I'm pretty jacked up about it. What do you got?
Yeah. No, well said. It's funny. As of yesterday, as of last night, he was, according to On3, 97%.
Yeah. 97
going to Missouri. 97. Yep. We had less than a 3%, 2.8% chance of landing him.
We Cormanied him. We Cormanied him, man.
Hey, there you go. Pretty much. Well said. But yeah, I looked at the fact that he's 6'7", 315. Yeah. He's got size, got ability. And it's funny you say that, B, because if he was not in Conference USA, I might have maybe put him at the high level. So it'll be interesting to see what he does against some SEC linemen. But at the end of the day, a solid medium nonetheless. And already they slapped an NIL valuation on him of about $410K. So very interesting there.
I believe it. Big time get here. I mean, this one pops. It's really the one that really kind of stands out as being pretty high. Though again, I think, but Coleman's higher ranked. So Coleman you got to take that in perspective, so we probably should be pretty high on the Coleman get. It's not a bad one. All right, moving on. Last topic here. Biggest areas of need still. Let's talk about it real quick. Where do you see the biggest areas of need still being present in the class here, based on what we have already gotten, or even if we have gotten some of it? What are we still missing? What do we need?
So a couple things. I see we have a massive departure line when it comes to the O-line and when it comes to the DBs. I think those are two areas that really need to be replenished and filled from a depth perspective, whether it's scar tissue or not. Those two positions are extremely important. And I'm not sure if you mentioned this earlier, B, but I kind of would like to see another quarterback coming out somewhere else. If it is a 3-star, if it's someone who's, what I'm looking at is a quarterback who has logged several years, right?
Yep.
Maybe a journeyman, maybe who's been around, but has seen the field, has seen competition, has seen speed. Maybe if we can get pick up another Harrison Bailey-like figure who's been in the SEC, in that range, I would love to see that as well. But those are 3 areas that we need to, because I thought about wide receiver, and even with the departures that we've had, we still have the ones that have re-signed and that are committed, that are strong. I thought about running back. Guess what? Re-signed, committed, strong, and as you mentioned, the transfer coming in. So outside of that, for me, I look at the DBs, I look at the O-line, and more specifically too, looking at the safety room as well. And then, of course, liking a more experienced, more tenured, journeyman type quarterback coming in. Those are, I think, the 3 biggest areas of need. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with edge, and there is a little caveat on that, depending on whether or not we lose Jaden. I still think you want an edge.
Oh, okay.
I still think you want an edge for depth, regardless, but we need a standout edge if we lose Jaden. We got to get somebody back to replace the potential production you lose in him if you lose him. Even though I understand you still have guys on the roster that are good, that's no disrespect to McRae or to oh boy, I'm gonna lose the other name right now because I'm not thinking of who else is playing opposite of him. Oh, it's not Wiggins. Who's in front of him on the other side? Because we lost Sapp. Who is it? Wow, I can't believe I can't think of who's going to be opposite on the other side of the line. I can't believe that's out of my head right now. Anyway, we'll move on. I know he came back, but I just can't put a finger on it at the moment. Anyway, so I think you need another edge regardless, but I think you need a splash at edge if you lose Jaden. So hopefully we don't lose him, but I think you need another depth piece regardless. Either way, I'm with you on cornerback, but more specifically, we got to have a nickel. we got to have somebody who can play nickel, because right now I don't know who it is on the roster that's doing that effectively for us. I really don't. So you got to have another ad there for sure. That is a must-have. And I do think we need another wide receiver. I know what you said about wide receiver. I think we need him for depth. I think your starting rotation is pretty well handled, with obviously having Dallas and Vernell. Though I'm not sure who's playing the other one in a three wide receiver set now as a starter, right? I mean, we have guys on the roster, but I'm not sure who the starter is right now, currently today. I don't know. I don't know who it is that's going to take that role right now. So I wouldn't mind seeing potentially somebody else come in for it. With all the what's that?
By the way, was your other edge you were thinking about, was it Gums?
No, Gums went pro.
Right. Okay. So outside of that, you've got Cameron James.
James. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Because it was either that or Asari. I was thinking of the other two.
No, it was Cam James. I just couldn't come up with it. Thank you.
Yep.
But yeah, from a wide receiver standpoint, I would like to see us make another pickup there. Again, either as a depth piece or really potentially as honestly as a starter. Because again, Vernell's going to play the slot. You've got Dallas as the big X out there, but who's playing Y? Or excuse me, the Z. Who's playing the Z? Dallas is the Y, and Vernell's the X. Who's playing the Z? Right? I don't know. I mean, we have guys once again, but like. And I think obviously you've got some good pickups this season from the freshman class. Obviously, Gross is another phenomenal player, but I think he's more of a slot guy too, potentially anyway, from his size profile. But who's playing it? I don't know. So I'd like to see us get a more bigger body receiver potentially out there that can come in and play that. So, and I know we're looking at some guys. So I think there's some more to be had there. I think we may even get a couple, honestly. So we'll see. I think we're out of the Cam Coleman sweepstakes from what we've heard, despite the Tide, the coach, which is unfortunate. But I think there are potentially some other guys from Auburn that might still be on the table. So we'll see what happens there. But I do think that that's going to be a position of need, and we've got a great recruiter now at wide receivers coach. So let's see what he can do. But yeah, that's what I still see as being needed. I think as long as we get that center from Georgia Tech and that still comes through, then I think your O-line concerns are more or less addressed, honestly. I don't think it's too big of a need with what we've already picked up and what we have. It was definitely an area of need, but I think we've done a good job addressing it so far. I certainly don't mind another one, but I think we've gotten it from there. So, yeah, I mean, good things here, man. Really solid stuff that they've done so far. Still need some more. Certainly not done, but I like that we're attacking this. We're certainly attacking it way harder than the previous administration did, without question.
Oh boy!
To see this many transfers in 4 days, we've never seen anything like this, man. So this is great. This is great to be able to talk about. It's great to be able to go through and review this stuff, and really have some content to go into, and not just talk about the guys leaving, but also have some guys that are coming in, and not have to wait for them to trickle in over the next 3 months. Nice. So, with that, I think we're coming to the end here. Went a little bit longer than we thought it would, but hey, that happens sometimes.
It does.
I think overall, like I said, good things coming in this class, and hopefully more to come, and we'll see what happens. And everybody, like you said, cross everything you got that we can hold on to Jaden, because man, would love to have him stay. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, and you can wrap us up here and talk about the next pod, and we'll go from there.
Definitely, my man. So, folks, really interesting. I pulled this number from On3B. I think you'd like this. On3 as of I don't know, maybe half hour ago, it looks like there's roughly 2,600 athletes enter the transfer portal, about 530 committed, and 6 have withdrawn. Holy smokes. There's a lot of kids out there just in this carousel, right? So it's just unbelievable to see.
Let's make it 7 withdrawn. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, anyways, folks, it's the Wild Wild West. Yes, it's college football, but it's not really. It looks more like the NFL, week in, week out. But it is what it is. That's the era that we're in, and it's going to continue to morph and change and turn and move. So that is what it is. Next regularly scheduled podcast, Monday, January 19th. We've got a unique topic, folks, setting the bar for Sumrall. What does that look like? What are the expectations? What do we hope to see? And that's going to be our episode number 80. coming to you a couple of Mondays from now, January 19th. So outside of that, thank you all for tuning in. Really enjoyed doing this pod, especially we'll get the breakdown of those that are leaving and those that are coming in. As B mentioned, we got a lot more to go. So with that being said, wherever you are and whenever you may be listening, thank you for taking the time, and we will see you around, Gator Nation.